The School Adventures of Henry Hyperbole. Written and illustrated by Miss Heap's Super Second Grade Class. Narrated by Aaron Byram. Our class discovered hyperbole and alliteration while studying a unit on poetry. We soon determined that we could use hyperbole to write a comical class book. Hence, Henry Hyperbole was born. It was the first day of second grade, and Henry Hyperbole was a little nervous. He took his time walking to class. He was walking so slowly that a snail passed him in the hallway. Henry thought everything was going to be all right when he walked into the classroom and noticed his teacher was wearing a smile a mile wide. It felt like the whole world was staring at him as he tried to unpack his heavy book bag. His book bag was full of school supplies. Henry told his teacher that it was heavy as a ton of bricks. You could have knocked Henry over with a feather. When his teacher showed him to the desk, his eyes got as big as saucers because he was sitting right next to Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi is a giant tarantula that's about the size of an elephant. Henry was relieved to learn that the class pet moved around as much as a bump on a log. Henry Hyperbole worked very hard all morning to finish his work so he could go to PE. It was one of his favorite parts of school, and he'd rather kiss a rattlesnake than miss PE. When it was time for recess, Henry forgot to wear his jacket. It was so cold that his teeth were chattering, and the polar bears were wearing coats and earmuffs. Henry ran to the slide and tried to climb up the wrong way. He slipped right off and bumped his head. The bump on his noggin was about the size of Mount Rushmore. He went to his teacher about his injury, and she said, "I've told you kids a million times to go down the slide." She sent him to the nurse to get an ice pack. After recess, it was time for more work. Henry was getting a little hungry. His favorite food was pizza, and he could smell it a mile away. When the teacher told the class to line up for lunch, Henry Hyperbole said, "I'm so hungry that I could eat a hippo." Henry enjoyed his delicious lunch, and his head was feeling much better. He ate so much that he was full as a tick. Henry read the joke on his milk carton and thought it was quite funny. When he shared the joke with a friend next to him, she said, "The last time I heard that joke, I was riding on a dinosaur." It was time for math after lunch. The students had so many math problems to do that Henry was sure he'd turn 100 before he ever got finished. Finishing all the math problems was like finding a needle in a haystack, but Henry finished just in time to pack up for the day. Phew! Henry got home and told his mom about his first day at school. When he finished talking, he was so thirsty that he almost drank a river dry. His mom took one glance at his homework and told him to get started. There was more homework than a dump truck full of cement. It took hours and hours to get it all done. After dinner and a quick shower, Henry fell into bed. He slept like a log that night. The next day he woke up feeling a little anxious. He was about as nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Henry was hoping to make more friends at school. Henry rushed out and caught the bus just in time. The bus driver drove so fast that Henry's back was stuck to his seat. They arrived at school just before he could even blink twice. The bus stop was at the bottom of the steps that went on for miles. They were so tall they reached all the way to the moon. It took Henry forever to reach the front doors. Surely it was at least a gazillion miles. Henry felt like a movie star as he walked down the halls. People were waving and saying, "Good morning" and "Welcome." Everyone at Pike Primary was so friendly that he forgot all about being anxious. Henry Hyperbole decided then and there that Pike Primary was the absolute best school on the entire planet. He was the happiest kid alive, and he knew the school year was going to be awesome.